these motherfuckers thought it was about me.
Oh, and I mean, maybe because I live at home with your
Yes.
And then I see the camera pans out where you see the group of women sitting around each other, and you see this one square-shaped woman sitting on the floor, and I'm like, it's Mariah Carey.
Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Kevin and Mikkel back with another video. This is actually part 2 of the previous video. I just couldn't have the seriousness and all the funniness in one video. So in this video, we're going to talk about Trayvon Martin and the arrest of George Zimmerman. Please start this video off by clicking the thumbs up button and make sure y'all share this video on Facebook and Twitter. On this video, we're going to talk about the Trayvon Martin case. On Monday, it was news that George Zimmerman's defense attorneys dropped him, and they dropped him because not Monday, it was Tuesday, excuse me. Bitch, get it together. Okay.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was Tuesday. So it was Tuesday. They did a little press conference saying that they was letting him go because they had no contact with him. He was not returning their phone calls or their text messages or emails. So they dropped him, and then they did a whole 45-minute interview outside talking about how they believe in George Zimmerman even though they never met him face to face, which I find so weird because I cannot defend anybody and not be able to sit there and talk to them face to face without wanting to take the case. I couldn't do it. I don't understand why they went on and did it anyway.
Well, I can tell you why they did it.
For money and to be famous. But I just still couldn't do it. I would have to see you. You better sing it. And they went off, and they made me mad because what made me mad? I wasn't mad that they sat there and talked about the whole case. I wasn't mad about that. What made me mad was that they were trying to criminalize Trayvon Martin. He's like, oh, we didn't y'all trying to paint Trayvon to be this good guy when he used to post all this kind of stuff on his Facebook and Twitter, all of these pictures and stuff. And I said,
what does that have to do with the night he was killed?
Yes, it does.
What does that have to do with anything? I could have taken about 20 of these sweaters and went and spray painted a swastika or I hate white people all over them and burnt them in the middle of my block where I lived, and then a week later been shot over something else. And what does me doing that have to do with me getting killed? That has nothing to do with that. Nothing at all. Nothing. Like, come on. Like, come on.
I sat there, I was tweeting, I cursed him out on Twitter. Like, I don't know his Twitter name, but it just made me mad. And it's like, how y'all don't even know really what happened. George could be telling y'all anything. And y'all sitting there, oh, we believe him. But then it sounded like y'all was burying him. And to me, if I was to hire y'all as a lawyer, I wouldn't be able to trust y'all because if I do something wrong, y'all going to drop me and then come out and start talking all this stuff. So I think they kind of messing with their money a little bit. But they went on and on and on how George wasn't in Florida. He was somewhere else. He was out of the state, far, far away, which I don't believe. He was just, in hiding, and George made up this damn website, therealgeorgezimmerman.com, and he actually posted pictures of racist people posting, long live George Zimmerman, and he was begging for their money, and only people, not boring people, like, I think maybe racist people might have sent him money to help him because he don't need no money. He is fine wherever he's hiding at. George Zimmerman was fine, and to me, that was kind of like, he's not right in the head. First of all, he wasn't right in the head calling the cops 46 times. All of those times just to report it was loud noise or a damn garage door was open or something. He would call the cops over any damn thing. And especially if it was somebody black and suspicious. Most people he called don't worry about black people. By George Zimmerman, he was just doing a little bit too much trying to be a police officer or a vigilante in his neighborhood. So, he got this crazy ass website out. His lawyers can't find out where he is or whatever. He stopped talking to everybody.
When did he make the website?
He made the website on Monday. I thought the website was fake. I didn't even think it was real. I just thought it was somebody.
Because you would think that he would have that that the audacity to do that.
And I can't believe his lawyers, the ones that dropped him, they were in the process of setting up a website for him on their own to ask for money. And then they tried to say, oh, well, we didn't want to have anything to do with the money because you know how lawyers and money are, such. They didn't want to look over his account. You know, they were trying to say whatever the fuck they were saying. I'm just not here for it. So then I just knew on Tuesday, not yesterday, what was yesterday? Wednesday. No, I knew something was going to happen Wednesday, but I didn't know it was going to happen like that. Like, because they were saying 72 hours, Prosecutor Corey was going to say something. And yesterday, Prosecutor Corey came out at 6 o'clock. She was out there prompt on CNN. I was watching CNN. And she said all she had to say. And I'm like, girl, can you just get to the point? Are you going to charge him, yes or no? And she said that they was going to charge him with second-degree murder. And tell them how you feel after that.
I'm happy that it happened. I'm not for sure. I was trying to think last night if I had said it in one of our previous videos. I'm not for sure if I said it, but excuse me. I had this feeling. Remember when I told you remember like a couple videos ago, I was saying that I was praying for Trayvon's family and I was still praying for Whitney's family. Mm-hmm. And one of the mornings that when I did pray, it just something came over me and I just had this feeling that something said that if you give it enough time, this man will not only be caught, but he'll be brought to justice. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember if I shared that you
shared it to everybody on Twitter.
But I don't know if I said that part. I just know that I know I definitely was saying something like that to that effect on Twitter a few weeks ago. And when it happened yesterday, I was so excited, but at the same time I said to myself, but this is something that deep down inside I knew was going to happen because a lot of people were anxious. Of course, after 44 days, you will be anxious to get this man arrested. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, sometimes with things like that, you have to let them work his way out. And it happened yesterday. Mm-hmm. And I was so happy that it happened because it was like, even though, he hasn't been charged with, he hasn't been, is it charged when what's the word?
He's charged.
Okay, but the word that I'm looking for is...
Convicted?
Yeah, convicted of the crime yet. Mm-hmm. It still is one step forward. And I thought that Trayvon Martin's family, their lawyer, the one who said ignorant.
Yes. That was the topic.
Justice. I'm not going to go in. Don't go in. Because you know what? His heart was in the right place. Where his brain, his tongue
he's
was
from
at.
down south.
Okay.
He do got a big tongue. That's why he talk like that.
I didn't want to say he was from down south because you know how down south people get.
Okay.
What you trying to say? I'm not trying to say anything. He said it for me. Ignorant. Because up here we don't say ignorant. I was the joke.
It's ignorant.
He was just talking fast. He was talking fast with his big old mouth. But anyway, I forgot what I was going to say. What was I going to say? Oh,
acting ignorant.
Yeah, but I was saying something before ignorant.
His lawyer and...
Yeah, before we start talking about his lawyer.
You said, no, don't go. I'm not going to go into his lawyer.
But basically, his lawyer said, which made perfect sense, that this part of him getting arrested and charged is just like they've made it to first base. Mm-hmm. They haven't yet made it to home run yet. And it's so true. I think that now we have to wait it out and just let the
justice system
do
work at everything.
What it is that they are going to do. Mm-hmm. Now, there were talks that if this guy is found not guilty on this second-degree murder, will there be riots? And my coworker and I were talking about this today, and we both said to ourselves that we didn't think that it was going to be riots. But if it does happen, I think that people should think long and hard about doing stuff like that because at the end of the day, a riot does not solve anything. I think that when you have people who go out and they start turning over cars and breaking up windows and burning stuff, what exactly is that proving?
It doesn't
prove anything.
But let me tell you.
Now, I can understand, because some people may say, well, what exactly did the marches prove? Well, the marches proved a lot, because it got this guy, it kept this story in the media. It kept it in the media. You riding, doing all that crazy stuff, it's just going to make this whole situation look bad. And it's also going to make African Americans look bad, because it's going to make it seem like the coons that they call, say they're for us to be. Mm-hmm. I don't see a riot helping in any way, shape, or form at all. And I would hope and pray that people don't take that route if this guy is found not guilty. Because at the end of the day, I think a lot of people, if you have that strong belief and you have that strong faith where you believe in God and you have this, this whole thing, you know that at the end of the day, this man is going to be found, is going to be brought to justice. Mm-hmm. Whether or not he's brought to justice here on earth or in the afterlife, he's going to get to what's coming to him. Mm-hmm. He's going to get it.
Let me tell you, I am sure if Angela Corey would have said we are not going to charge George Zimmerman, she would have to go in hiding. Because not only are they going to put a bounty on George Zimmerman, they would have put a bounty on her. Because she said that there was going to be no grand jury. And for those who don't know what a grand jury is, a grand jury are people that you select to say yes or no to actually charging George Zimmerman with the crime. What she did was charged him. But a grand jury selects if it's going to be a charge or not, yes or no. It's not a trial. It's just they're going to look at the facts and say, should we charge him? And then after that, it will go to trial. So that's what a grand jury does. So she said that she was not going to use a grand jury, that, so basically the whole case, or if there's going to be a trial, was on her shoulders. And for her to say, no, we're not going to charge him, instead of letting like a grand jury decide, I think that was something that it would have been too hard for her. But as everyone on CNN, MSNBC, all the news stations were saying, there has to be some evidence that she knows that made her do that. She said she looked at everything. And that's how she came up with her decision. And I know that the Sanford Police Department has to feel like shit that it took a woman to come in and to look over all of the facts and look at everything to charge George Zimmerman. Because trust and believe, if there were no rallies in all these different cities and no one stepping up and saying anything, George Zimmerman would still be a free man.
What does that mean?
There would have never been a charge.
What does that mean when you say they should feel stupid because a woman came in? What does that mean?
Well, what I'm saying is, I know it sounds sexist, but a woman did come in.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
Because they were going to just sweep this under the rug. So they were going to sweep it under the rug.
So there's no women who works at the Sanford Police Department?
Look, there was no women in charge of that case. All we seen was the commissioner of the Sanford Police Department.
I'm just trying to make light of it.
I know, I shouldn't say that.
No, because I'm listening. Let me tell you something. I know a lot of times y'all may think that I don't listen, but I'm listening to everything you're saying because you're making sense. Except for when you came to that woman part, I'm thinking, like, what does that have to do with anything?
Well, shit.
I think better.
First of all,
I think what you should have said was they should feel stupid because an outsider came in.
Well,
and did this.
An outsider.
Because she doesn't work with them.
You know what? I am using this.
Can you do me a favor? Get all that lemonade off your mustache.
No,
it's all in your mustache. Lemonade.
Oh, I know. So
where's my sanitizer? I don't have it with me.
Stop it. Okay, so she had to come in and investigate everything, and she prosecuted, she charged George Zimmerman with that. Now, okay, that's fine. Mm-hmm. And she went on to explain everything, and she was saying how all murders are homicides, but all homicides are not murders. And at first I'm like, did she say that right? And she did say that right, because sometimes killings are justified and some aren't. And she found that Trayvon Martin's killing was not justified. It was a murder. And she charged him with second-degree murder, which means that the murder was not intentional. It wasn't premeditated, like he didn't plan to kill him, but he did and eventually kill him. And that could have been something that could have been prevented.
Because I honestly, in my heart, don't believe that he...
No. He was just trying to be street justice.
He was just trying to be street justice.
Yes.
And I honestly do think that if Trayvon Martin would have, if he would have been able to get his hands on Trayvon Martin without any type of struggle or whatever the case may be, he would have been so happy and so, joyful that he got this guy arrested. I don't think that he intentionally went out to kill him. Mm-hmm. I do think that something happened between the two of them where it
was it had to be a fight.
It was something that happened where he went up to because Trayvon Martin's girlfriend, who he was on the phone with, says clearly that on the phone conversation, she can hear the guy come up to him, George Zimmerman, come up to him and push him in some sort of way because she can hear a scuffle between them. So there had to have been something. Okay. Now, whether or not whether or not Trayvon Martin hit him first, or if George Zimmerman hit him first, somebody asked an interesting question. I was watching Nancy Grace, and this woman called in, and she said, George Zimmerman is using this whole defense of stand your ground with the stand your ground law. She said, but what if it was switched? And what if Trayvon Martin was now standing his ground because he felt as though he was being threatened? And then they had a lawyer on there and said, well, if the role was switched, if it then became Trayvon Martin the one standing the ground, I think that it somehow wouldn't work in his favor, that it would still work in George Zimmerman's favor, whatever the case may be. But I just thought that it was stupid because all the evidence points that this guy was totally out of line. Then I saw his brother. Last night was
don't make me go in on.
Last night was my first time
seeing the brother,
listening to his brother, and I understand why it was my first time. I didn't catch everything. First of all, did you see when he was on Piers Morgan, right? Did you see when Piers Morgan asked him if he had anything to say to Trayvon's family? What would he say? And he totally, basically avoided the question. Basically, he went on this whole rant of how his brother was still innocent and don't judge my brother. But yeah, he didn't have any type of kind words for the Martin family.
No, because his family, is upset that this happened.
And mind you, I don't think anybody in his family has come out and said anything like
except for him and his father, who won't go on camera because we can't.
No, I mean as far as I don't think any of them come out and say they're deeply sorry that this happened. I don't think any of them have said that. I think it's just all George was in the right and Trayvon was in the wrong.
Joe Oliver got fired.
He disappeared.
I heard, he just came out.
Oh, did you, after that whole Lawrence O'Donnell interview, did you see that one?
I seen that.
He disappeared after
Lawrence O'Donnell and Charles Blow got his ass.
And then after that, you see him no more. That Frank Taffy.
He's a hot mess.
Oh, he's a hot mess. He's a hot mess.
They must have been paying him too.
Oh, he's a hot mess because he just will not shut up. He just will not.
This is my thing. If you were not there,
how can you
sit there and say any fucking thing? I mean, listen. I know we all have our opinion on the fact because now I'm getting mad. But how can you sit there and try to explain what happened? You were not there. If you don't have any type of what's the word I'm looking for? Like any professionalism in crimes, or telling how shit went, or any type of forensic expertise, shut the fuck up.
That's what he had the nerve to say about the
phone about him getting shot.
No, about the yelling for help, of who that was yelling for help. He told Nancy Grace, because Nancy Grace told him, well, one of the neighbors said that
it was Trayvon.
It was a boy, a young boy yelling for help. So he said to Nancy Grace, well, that neighbor, she doesn't know George Zimmerman and she doesn't know Trayvon Martin. So how would she know who's yelling for help? So Nancy Grace said, you mean tell me this woman wouldn't know the difference between
a child and a man? I was going in on Nancy Grace. I followed her, call her all types of names, but baby, she might have been on vacation and say, I'm not even talking about Trayvon.
Okay,
but when she came back, girl, she was going off, and I was like, yes, she's not going off for some little girl.
Can you just imagine her emails? I'm sure she probably got
had to. Bitch, where the fuck you at? You want to go on vacation? Who's this bitch standing in for you? Your ass should have been there, because they would have found Natalie Holloway. Your ass would have came off of vacation.
That girl, voice that you hear in the background of that audio yelling for help. I've never met Trayvon Martin a day in my life, but you can clearly tell that is not a man.
And he was screaming for help.
And my thing is, why on earth would George Zimmerman be screaming for help if he's the one with the gun and he's the one?
Let me tell you.
Why on earth would he be screaming for help?
I watched George Zimmerman's brother, Robert Zimmerman Jr., up there on Piers Morgan talking like a motherfucking fool. I mean, it was foolishness. Nothing but foolishness. And the girl, I can agree, first of all, okay, that's your family member, and you want to stand up for your family member. I get that. Nobody wants to see their close relative like that. Nobody. But you know right from wrong.
Yeah.
And if I knew that my family member was in the wrong, I wouldn't even come out and put my face out there.
Especially if I didn't know all the facts.
Okay, I wouldn't put my face out there. But this girl, she went on. I didn't mean to call her a girl, but that girl, she went on and on about how, first of all, his brother is not like that. his brother, first of all, what he said on the 911 text, he told the cops that he suggests someone come out here because it was something he said, but he just lied. Let me just tell you, Robert Zimmerman, let me tell you about that 911 call tape. Your brother didn't say, oh, somebody should come out and investigate. That's what he said. Your brother didn't say no shit like that. When he called, he said, there's been suspicious people in the neighborhood breaking in and doing robberies, and this guy that looks very suspicious. He looks suspicious. What does he look like? He's a black male. He looks black. Well, what is he wearing? He's wearing a gray hoodie, blue jeans, and white sneakers. That's what he said on the tape. And then they were talking about where they were at and where they were located. And then he said, they always get away. They always get away. So then he said he's running. So when he see Trayvon running, what does he do? He get out the car. And then when the 911 dispatcher is talking to him, he says, fucking coons. Now, I don't give a fuck what nobody else say. That's when it turns into a hate crime. When you call somebody a coon. Because now it's your goal to get him. Mm-hmm. You're chasing him. You're looking for him. And then you said again, he's running. And he asks, are you following him? He says, yes. And he says, we don't need you to do that. And he says, okay. So once he told George Zimmerman, we don't need you to follow him, that's when that whole shit should have stopped. He shouldn't have been still looking for Trayvon at all. It should have just been left like that. Then he asked you, where are you? He was trying to tell him where we at. Do you want the cops to meet us there? No, you got my number, blah, blah, blah. Just call me when y'all get here. No, bitch, you should have met them at the beginning of the entrance.
Okay. You know why he said that? He said that because he never had any intention to go back to that gate. His intentions was still
I'm going to find him.
I'm going to find him.
This nigga. We're going to get him.
There's nobody, I'm sorry, but I can't imagine somebody with an ounce of common sense would believe that this man stopped chasing him to go back and wait for them.
Mind you, he also kept saying he got something in his waist. He just looked real suspicious, man. Yeah, he checking me out. He just checking me out. Like, what? I'll be looking to see, why the fuck are you out in the rain? Mind you, can we all remember that it's raining? Okay? Nobody's talking about it was raining. What the fuck is George Zimmerman doing sitting out his car in the rain?
Well, you know, according to his brother, when Piers Morgan said something to him about being a watchman, he said, I've said this before, and I don't know why people keep saying my brother was out there doing neighborhood watch. He was on his way to the store with a loaded gun. With a loaded gun.
Okay.
That's what he said.
The neighborhood watchers ain't supposed to have guns, but why are you sitting? But why is he sitting in the car?
That's what Piers Morgan said to him. He said neighborhood watchmen in this country are not even supposed to have guns. Why do people keep saying my brother was a neighborhood watchman? He was on his way to the store.
Girl.
With a loaded gun?
Anybody that called the cops 46 times is neighborhood watch. Okay, not even
because if he ain't watching the neighborhood, he watching something.
Okay, looking for something. So he just looking real suspicious. Like,
I just don't understand.
Let me tell y'all something. Just because you black don't mean you suspicious. I don't believe that hoodie shit. That hoodie, no. All the people keep talking about the hoodie, no. The color of his skin, because he was a white boy.
If he was a white boy, that
he would not be looking. No. Walking around, looking suspicious, and the girl said he was just waiting because it was raining. Everybody keep forgetting that it was raining. And what I found so weird is that George Zimmerman clothes were not wet in that video. It was no grass stains. And mind you, it was raining, so they fighting in grass. It had to be some grass stains. Like, where? Like, what? I want to know what happened. I really want to know.
There may have been, and we just didn't see it. Because, remember, the lady who came out to say she was on Trayvon's side. Mm-hmm. She came out and said that when she came outside, Trayvon Martin
was she disappeared too. Like,
no, not the white lady with the short haircut.
It was two women that was first talking. Like when it first happened,
yeah, the white lady with the short haircut.
No more.
Yeah, but no, they're still out there. The white lady with the short haircut said that when she came out there, what she saw was Trayvon on the ground and George
face down on the ground, right?
Yeah, and George Zimmerman on top of him. That's what she said she saw. So I mean, they were in the grass.
And then, mind you, when he was saying that Trayvon Martin was on top of his brother, holding his mouth, and first of all, you saying George's head is getting pounded into the ground, and was his head was one hit away from him being unable to do anything no more.
But he was able to reach into his back and grab his gun.
And losing consciousness. If you're losing consciousness, how the fuck are you able to pull the trigger of a gun? First of all, somebody's choking me.
Grab the gun and find the gun.
If somebody's choking me and pounding my head into a ground, I'm not gonna look for no motherfucking gun, bitch. I'm gonna be trying to get your hands off of me.
Let me tell you something. This is what I honestly believe, deep down in my heart, and I want you to tell me if you see what I'm saying. I honestly do believe that when George Zimmerman got off the phone with those cops, he pulled that gun out and went looking for Trayvon. And I think what he was going to do was try to act as if he was a security guard to try to scare him with that gun. Because I can't see if there was a struggle, he would have enough time to pull that gun out. I think that gun was already out when he came face to face with Trayvon. That's what I honestly believe. I don't think there was no way in the world.
He had to.
But that gun had to have been out.
First of all, he let me know it's something in his waistband.
Because let me tell you
carrying
something. Anytime, if he's going to follow this boy, if he's going to follow Trayvon, there's no way in the world he's not going to follow him with his gun drawn. Because he don't know what he has. So he's going to make sure his gun drawn. And I think that he was planning on catching him, not shooting him, but probably catching him and scaring him like, look, who are you? I'm this, and you know, why are you here? But things got heated, and Trayvon probably was scared. Who are you with this gun coming up to me like, what is all this about? Like, it's...
For that boy to scream for help, and for the gun to go off, and nobody else was screaming for help, doesn't sound right, because if you shot somebody and you're in the right, you still would be screaming for help. That you did something, I need y'all to keep help, call the cops, something on that tape. Didn't hear nobody saying call the cops. You didn't hear anybody getting head banged saying, oh, first of all, your head getting banged, you're not gonna be sick. You can't, it's no way you could be screaming for help at that time. Your head getting banged. And then he was saying,
first of all, you know what hurts George Zimmerman? It's his friends and family who keep coming out talking.
Then he's saying
what's hurting him.
His nose was broke. Mind you, if your nose is broke, you gotta be bleeding somewhere. His nose is broken. He's trying to hold his mouth and his nose while George was screaming for help. If somebody told him I broke nose,
all the time he's running.
I would have been like, call the cops. I would have been trying to say something like, or get off of me.
How would you?
No, girl, bye. Call the cops. Oh, get off of me. Get the fuck off of me. I would have been saying something like that. If I'm getting beat up and somebody holding my nose and my mouth, girl, I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna go the fuck off. Robert Zimmerman, you just sitting there defending your brother that you haven't even seen in years. But all of a sudden, George told you everything that happened. And it's going to come out what happened. Well, for your brother to get charged with murder, it's some other shit that's going to come out. And I can't wait. Because I've been glued to seeing them. But I know that Angela Corey is not going to say nothing else until that court date. But I just love how the way she was reading everybody and doing it so eloquently. You know, she was just reading so swiftly. I love
Frank Taffy on Nancy Grace, he was so upset at her, at Angela Corey.
Oh,
she was just on there boasting. She was just
boasting.
Like, you just sound so bitter and upset that they finally caught him. Like, it's almost as if you wanted him to
get away with scap.
You know, get away.
I'm just not here for it. I can't wait until the trial date or when they start the jury selection. I don't think nothing else is going to come out. I mean, y'all could be happy about what's going on, but please don't be dancing in the streets. Please don't go around celebrating. There can be no celebrations because someone is dead. You know, we could be glad that justice was served, but don't be around dancing. Because just because he got charged does not mean he will be found guilty. You know, that doesn't mean he will be found guilty. So don't get your fucking apples up. Because, bitch, we just knew. What's that bitch name? Casey Anthony was going to be found guilty. And what did they say? Not guilty.
You know what what makes me sad is that his family, they're going through this process and they have to go through this every day. And they just want justice for their son's killer. But what makes me sad, because this is keeping them going, like, even though they're having, like, I'm sure they're having their tough days, but it's still keeping them, they got something that they're fighting for. But what's making me sad is that after this is all said and done, it's all over and done with, because one of these days it's going to come to an end, this trial. It's going to be found guilty or not guilty. They're going to go home and they're still not going to have a son.
That's right.
Now, the Zimmerman family, even though they're going to be losing a son to prison if he's found guilty, they'll still have somebody they can go and visit every 2 weeks or every week or whatever I have to do in prison. This family, they have to visit this little boy in jail.
They have to learn how to live in the cemetery and learn how to live life again. You know,
that's what makes me. It's so hurtful and painful because it hurts me. Oh God, Jesus! It hurts me because last year when my aunt passed last year, the whole realness of death hadn't it hit me, but it didn't hit because I was close to my grandma, but I was also young when she died. And so my parents kept me from going to her funeral because it was one of my grandmom's wishes that if I did pass while she was young, she didn't want me going because I was that close to her. So I didn't go. My sister and I didn't go to her funeral. So that I never, got to experience that whole thing. One of my cousins passed. I didn't go to his funeral. One of my grandfather's brothers, my uncle, I didn't go to his funeral. But my aunt who passed last year, my grandmom's, one of her sisters, I went to her funeral because as I got older, I was able to connect with her. She became like a second grandmother to me. And so the point that I'm trying to make is after her death, it's like, even though it's going to be a year, like in a week or two, that she's been gone, it's like, it feels so, it's like, I still have those days where I'm like, okay, well, let me get up and go to her house and see her today. Or let me call her real quick. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's like, I can't do that. I can't do that. The other day, I was driving to work, and I was crying as I was driving to work because I just started thinking about her. And it's like, these people, they don't have their son. And it's not like this is their cousin or a friend. This is their son. This is that boy's brother. Like, they don't have him anymore. And I think that the way these people out here are trying to make him such a bad person. Oh, he was doing this in school, and he got suspended for this, and he had weed on him. I think that's a cop out for trying to prove a point to somebody that you all know deep down inside is guilty. They know deep down inside this man's guilty, but yet they're trying to make this case that yeah, he's guilty. But let's look at him. He was a bad guy too. Like, come on, he was a bad guy. Like, somebody had the nerve to write on my Facebook one day and say, "Well, I don't believe that Trayvon Martin didn't know what was going on. I mean, he had been to that apartment complex a few times, so how did he not know where he was going?" I'm thinking, like, are you listening to what you're saying? Like, come on, like, it's the disregard of life to me that's hurtful the most, because it's like, it's almost as if people don't even care that, so what? Don't care. This boy died. Some people feel as though, yeah, he died because he was doing wrong. And it's like, it's a shame, because it's like, it's common sense, and all that is right there in front of everybody. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to show that this guy was clearly in the wrong. He was clearly in the wrong, but I so feel sorry for his family, because when this is all said and done, they're not going to have a son anymore. They're not going to have him no more.
It's not no more. They don't.
Yeah, they don't have him.
They don't.
They don't. That's what hurts me so. It really does hurt me. It really does.
I was talking about this last night. Like, I really don't think Jordan Zimmerman should get life in prison. I don't. But I just want this story to wake people up to what's going on in this world. And we have laws now where people are going to start killing, but they're going to say it was self-defense. And this law I don't think this law should be allowed. The only way it could be really self-defense is if you're allowed to carry a gun and someone provokes you for you to kill them. I don't think it should just be, it don't matter where you are. If you see someone doing something and it can cause danger to you, you have the right to go along and kill them because you're standing your ground. I don't think that's a
that would make
good
me
thing.
Scared to walk the streets.
Yeah, because then somebody can say,
somebody say,
and Pennsylvania has that law. Pennsylvania has it. Yeah, we do. We have a similar, thing to that. And I think it should be like if someone's trying to break in your house or something like that.
Yeah.
Then that's self-defense. But nobody should be able to go around killing anybody. Why are you carrying that gun? You mean to tell me you couldn't hold him down? You had to shoot him? You didn't have to go looking for him. If you wouldn't have to go looking for him, he wouldn't be dead. And for people to say stuff like Trayvon was looking for him, he went around and snuck him and punched him, I don't believe that. And let me tell you something. Any black person I know You can be black, white, whatever. But I know one thing's for sure. Black people, when they are scared and they're trying to get away, they are not going to go back to you.
No.
They will not.
No.
They will not go back to confront you or try to fight you when they feel that their life is in danger.
Especially
I
if they
don't
don't
know nobody.
know who you are. They don't. I mean, that's just. I mean, like George Zimmerman said it himself in that 911 tape. He's now running. Mm-hmm. He's running because he's scared. That's why he's running. He don't know who you are. And for you to say that you didn't stop chasing him and you turned around and sort of walked into your car and then that's when he turned to come.
Mm-hmm. And then he said, I don't want this guy to get my address. So that means you were that close behind him? If you don't want him to know where you lived at? It's just too much. I just don't know nobody that's going to run behind somebody and punch them. Because if I'm going to run, bitch, I'm running to my house. I'm going somewhere. You know, I'm running trying to get to my house. And then you come, you probably say something to him while you had your gun out. And that's what stopped him. I don't know. You know, the girl didn't hear everything, but she did hear you say, "Why you in my neighborhood?" Mm-hmm. It's just a lot. You know, it's just a lot. I don't think it was his intention to really kill him. He was just trying to, you know, until I hear all the facts. Right now, just saying like he was just trying to be a hero.
Yeah. He was trying to play.
But I need to hear that trajectory of the bullet. How close range was the shot to where he got him? That's what I need to know. And why wasn't any blood on? If Trayvon, if you shoot somebody, it should be blood on you if he's on top of you. If you shot him while he was on top of you, there's no way in hell you should not look like you didn't have any blood on you. You should be bleeding. So you could have been away from him when you shot him. Something had to go down. I don't know, but we're going to leave this into the court's hands. And this is the last time I want to talk about it until they go to court or something new comes out. But all of this trying to make Trayvon look like a criminal is fucking irrelevant. Let's talk about what happened that night. That's the only thing that's relevant. It doesn't matter what he did in his past. It only matters about what happened on February 26, 2012. And that's how I'm going to leave this video. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great weekend. And we will see you guys on Monday.